Hello and welcome to Holiday. How do you combine a scenic train trip, a bike ride and a bungee jump all in the one day? Well, it can be done, and as we'll see on the program tonight, it all happens just outside Cairns in far north Queensland. Now, the really good thing about this day out is that the bungee jump is optional. Also on tonight's program, the Canberra wildlife not involved in politics, a royal tour for theatre lovers in Tasmania, and Cape Tribulation lives up to its name.
Well, unfortunately, this is about as far as we're going to go. I don't think, well, actually, we won't get up here. We'll probably get to the vehicle to this point, and then it's very slippery. All we'd be doing is damaging the track and chewing the mud up more and more. It's too dangerous, and for the passengers as well as the vehicle.
But first, a gold rush legacy.
It's just over 2.5 hours drive from Canberra, and it's not often featured in holiday brochures. And its name? Central Tilba. How it gets the name Central, God only knows. It's hardly a large population centre. And why Tilba? Well, that, we're told, is Aboriginal for windy place, or meeting of the waters, or place of many rocks. Take your pick. And so why would anyone want to spend a few days in this little gold rush town? Probably for the best reason of all. It's very beautiful here. Well, there isn't much of Central Tilba, and this is the highest point on the horizon, the Dromedary Hotel. That's where I'm staying the night. It's but the only place to stay the night, unless you count the guest house down the road. It's also where Breaker Morant stayed the night at the turn of the century. It hasn't changed much since the days of Breaker Morant, except in one respect. It's no longer a house of ill repute, a function it acquired during the gold rush. Good day. I'm Patrick O'Neill.
Yes, we have a booking for you. Yes.
Okay. What's the tariff?
The tariff is $25 a night, including breakfast.
Well, this is what you get for $25. Nothing flash, but it's pretty good and basic, really, and no key. They're obviously quite an honest crowd here because nobody locks anything. And they're a considerate lot, too. Where else would a senior citizen get his own road sign? There are craft shops galore. Woodwork, glasswork, even old-fashioned leatherwork, kept alive by a philosopher turned saddler.
It's a great place to sit and confront the values that people bring with them when they come in. A highly trained and skilled philosopher is someone who sets about deconstructing people's preconceptions.
Well, a lot of people would ask, what the hell did all that mean?
They would, and I would say, whatever you want it to mean.
And on that note, let's look at Central Tilba's origins. Yeah, that hasn't changed at all, has it?
No, it shows that the whole area hasn't changed very much in the last 90 to 100 years.
A few more trees, perhaps.
Yes.
And there's a magnificent collection of old photographs to prove it. Which all goes to show why the National Trust classified it. But they didn't stop at the town. They classified the landscape as well. An open car is a great way to enjoy it. Fertile pastures intermingled with the smell of cow manure. And don't laugh, the cows do a good job around here. To help them do it, the Central Tilba Cheese Factory, or ABC Cheese. ABC, by the way, stands for Australia's Best Cheese. Quite a claim, and one I'm totally unqualified to pass judgment on.
This is our vintage. This is probably our most popular cheese. It's matured for 2 years.
I like that one. And I liked some of the others too. And so, presumably, do many people, for the factory produces 150 tons of cheese a year. Yeah, that's peppery, all right. That night in Central Tilba, there was a darts competition held in the Dromedary Hotel. I did not distinguish myself. A few hours later, the dawn was red and the darts forgotten. And our story, with a major element still missing, was about to be spiritually fulfilled. For dominating the landscape round here is Mount Dromedary. Named by Captain Cook in 1770, it's the oldest of his names to have survived unchanged. But its Aboriginal name, Gulaga, is being revived.
This place is a very sacred site. It's been here for the use of the southeast coast women for thousands of years.
We were invoking the good grace of the spirit Daramalan. Because I'm a man, I had to be admitted properly to a woman's site, hence this ceremony.
Then we meditate.
For $30 per person, Umbara Cultural Tours will take you up the mountain to the Teaching Rocks. There you can learn all about their culture or simply wander around these beautifully shaped and weathered rocks. But I'm not sure if the women's intercession with the spirits had been very successful, because no sooner was I back in central Tilba when a huge storm appeared over the mountain. Thunder, lightning, hail. It must have been the work of Daramalan.
They've been described as sitting like an emerald in the steel grey setting of a Melbourne skyline, and the description would seem most apt. Established in 1846, the Royal Botanic Gardens have been acclaimed as one of the most outstanding in the world. And it's easy to see why. Whatever the season, there are plenty of things to see.
Features that make this garden
and what better way to see them than with your own personal guide?
The interest in this particular bush is that it's a very historic one. It is, in fact, the parent of all zooa camellias.
Don Collis is typical of the volunteers who conduct these free guided walks. A retired civil engineer, he possesses, he says, a passion for all things botanical. The Royal Botanic Gardens cover some 35 hectares. There are around 10,000 different plant species to be found here, and Don knows all their secrets, such as the story of this 350-year-old river red gum.
In November 1850, a proclamation was read to the assembled citizens of Melbourne, stating that Victoria would become an independent state.
Predating the gardens by some 200 years, this venerable old gum now rejoices in the apt title of the separation tree.
The others are probably indicas.
These walks are conducted at 10 and 11 a.m. every day except Monday and Saturday. Simply turn up at the visitor centre of the gardens. But remember, parties of 6 or more need to book.
By any standard, the construction of the Cairns to Coranda Railway is a remarkable engineering feat. In the late 1800s, the rail was a vital link with those living in the Atherton tablelands and beyond. These days, it's the tourists who travel the tracks on what the brochures describe as one of the world's most spectacular scenic railways. Three trains leave Cairns daily for the 1.5-hour trip. On the way, you'll pass through 15 handmade tunnels, chug around 93 curves and cross dozens of bridges. Yet nothing seems to outdo the natural beauty of the region. Now, there's more to today's journey than immediately hits the eye. We've joined a group who've decided to combine the train ride with a bike ride and a bungee jump all in the one day.
It was recommended to us by friends, but now I know what we're in for. I'm a little bit nervous. I think it's a dose of insanity.
Our final stop by train is Barron Falls, just outside Coranda. From here, it's on to the bikes for a ride through the rainforest.
Okay, welcome to Coranda Markets, everybody. We're going to have a quick look around here and explore before we have lunch.
Set amongst some of the world's oldest rainforest, Coranda was once the traditional meeting place for both coastal and mountain Aboriginal tribes. After an hour of exploring, it was time for lunch at the rainforest station.
So you're looking forward to going down the hill there, Gary?
At least I won't have to feel it.
It's pretty good. It's probably...
Now, while this ride can be a lot of fun, it's not for everyone.
Guys, you took your time. Better late than never.
If you don't like the idea of biking it, you can always catch the bus.
Okay, how was that ride?
And you certainly don't have to go anywhere near the top of A.J. Hackett's bungee jumping tower if you don't want to.
Meat night. With a wife and 2 children to support, it's not. That's my excuse. That's how I've rationalised it to myself.
But on arriving here and seeing a few other people jump, I think you do realise that it probably isn't horrific as what you perhaps think.
Bungee jumping! Keep your eyes on this one, everyone. Looking ahead to these big side for us. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think the hardest part for me was, I think, standing at the top, and that decision of actually letting yourself go forward was the hardest.
Yeah, that was good. Well done. You survived anyway.
Meanwhile, the second of our adventurers prepares for flight.
You ready, buddy? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was a nice practice countdown for you there, mate. Not really happening, is it? Okay, mate. What you got to do? Yeah, look up and out, buddy. Don't look down anymore. Big breath in. Looking out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it wasn't until I actually got up there I realised what I was doing, really, what was I doing. And but it's just such a high, just jumping off.
Alrighty, mate.
It gives me great pleasure to give you your certificate.
Thank you.
The day trip to Coranda costs $80 per person.
Is give you a couple of shirts here, your 80.
These sorts of activity holidays are becoming more and more popular. The fact is, if you think of something you really want to do, you probably can.
So well done.
It was built before Adelaide was settled, and its first performance was held before Melbourne was named. 2 good reasons for touring the Theatre Royal in Hobart, the oldest theatre in Australia. And a tour won't cost you a cent. You start at the bottom and work your way up. This wall dates from 1834. A tavern under the theatre called the Shades, for a reason that I don't think there's any need to expand on now. Then you go up to the stalls and you've got a chance to take in the decor. Gaudy it might be, but there's something very intimate about it, not unlike a small European palace theatre, and the point's well made. Well, being a theatre royal, of course, it's got to have a royal box. That's just sitting there. The Lord Mayor's box is sitting there. Trouble is, they weren't really very good seats. You'd have done better to have sat up here in the gods, wooden benches where they used to cram the riffraff of Hobart for about 6p a seat. The whole theatre's dominated by a dome with its portraits of composers. A fire destroyed the originals. These are reproductions.
They're all composers except one who is actually a poet.
Mr. Schiller?
Yes. We don't know why he was included, but I guess he's the token gesture to the recent arts.
But the performing artists who've trod the boards have been no tokens. Names like Warren Mitchell, June Salter, Laurence Olivier and Vivian Lee all have played at the Theatre Royal. And if Laurence Olivier once described it as the best little theatre in the world, next time you're down Hobart way, you can make your own assessment for yourself, and for free.
The Daintree River sweeps from the mountains of far north Queensland through one of the world's oldest rainforests and out into the Coral Sea. Crossing the Daintree feels a bit like crossing a border into another land.
Today we'll be travelling through the Cape Tribulation National Park, very important rainforest, known as wet tropical rainforest. Very ancient rainforest. It started evolving around about 60 to 70 million years ago and has been continually evolving since.
A four-wheel drive is a must up here, and for many people an organised safari like this is the best option, because this is not easy country to travel. Our intended destination is Cooktown, 330 very slow and bumpy kilometres north of Cairns. Getting there will depend a little on Rod Jones' driving skills and a lot on luck. Are you anticipating any problems?
I'm praying that the rain will stay away, but if it does start raining, then we probably will almost certainly have some problems.
Until 1984, this road ended at Cape Tribulation. Then the bulldozers arrived to forge the Bloomfield track. Many people remember the Daintree best for the protests which followed. The Bloomfield track is just that, 32 kilometres of rough, pitted and usually slippery red dirt. And just to add to the fun, Rod's fear of rain has been realised. Now this is just the sort of obstacle you're likely to encounter on this road. It's not meant to be a major thoroughfare in any case, but a bit of rain can make it virtually impassable at any point, especially on a steep hill like this. If you're going to travel on the Bloomfield track, especially in the wet season, it's a good idea not to be too set in your plans. Otherwise, you could end up being rather disappointed. As it seems we're going to be.
Well, unfortunately, this is about as far as we're going to go. I don't think, well, actually, we won't get up here. We'll probably get the vehicle to this point, and then it's very slippery. All we'd be doing is damaging the track and chewing the mud up more and more. It's too dangerous, and for the passengers as well as the vehicle.
Well, we might have been defeated by a 50-metre stretch of mud, but others were determined not to be.
You saw the trouble that vehicle had just trying to get through the track here. It's very slippery. He has created a bit of damage to the track. Ours is a lot heavier vehicle. It'll create more damage, more erosion to the road, which makes it virtually impassable for anyone following.
So you're just not prepared to try it?
No, we'll have to go back further down, back through the Daintree, and we'll have a look at a few more things back there.
Oh, a bit disappointed, but I guess it's sort of part of the adventure, isn't it? We never knew we'd definitely get up there. I don't think I'd have fancied trying the road.
As consolation, Rod reveals his favourite secret swimming hole. The weather may be unpredictable up here, but it's always warm enough to swim.
Absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic in here. Just get in.
The Daintree rainforest holds a lot of secrets, if only you know where to look for them. And that's one of the advantages of having a guide.
All right, this is known as the giant strangler fig tree. Pretty impressive, eh? Yeah, this tree is estimated to be between 550 and 750 years old.
The Marja Botanical Walk, just south of Cape Tribulation, is one of the few places you can comfortably enter the forest. This walk takes you from rainforest to mangroves, the home of strange prehistoric plants which have adapted to life with permanently wet feet, and a source of bush tucker.
These are called green ants. The Aboriginals used to eat them. You just separate the rear of the ant from the main body. Without trying to do squashing too much. Just put this on your tongue and squeeze it against the roof of your mouth and see what it tastes like.
Not too bad.
Tastes like lemon?
Yeah.
Very rich in vitamin C.
Pretty green. Oh, it's lovely.
Oz Tours do a variety of safaris through northern Queensland, ranging from 2 to 16 days. Always adventurous, often unpredictable. On trips like these, the journey is as important as the destination. Because whatever happens in the Daintree, just to be here is an experience.
In a valley not too far from Canberra City is the space tracking centre Tidbinbilla. These huge dishes stare into space, giving the astronomical equivalent of a crick in the neck. Close by, under the same sky, is the nature reserve of the same name, where there's no way of avoiding a real crick neck. That is, if you want to discover the stars of this place.
The idea of this sign is for people to come along when there aren't any rangers around, to have a look at the sign and see where the koalas that have been found today, where they are, and then they can take themselves and follow the marked trail.
In their private cosmos, Tidbinbilla's koalas are tracked by rangers with a dedication that matches the astronomers across the way. And theirs is a necessary task. It's amazing how 17 koalas can just disappear in the canopy.
Yeah, we can get a clear view. We'll try and get a clear view of it.
But with Odile as guide, we're onto a sure thing.
He's awake. You probably can see him without binoculars, and he's moving around. I can see. He was asleep a while ago. So.
Think of that distant blob as a furry planet wandering its own system. And, like a planet, it's plotted, measured, labelled and named.
If you look very carefully with your binoculars, you'll see he's got an orange tag with a white stripe going through, and his name is Andy.
The Tidbinbilla Reserve covers 5,500 hectares, a lot of it accessible by following marked walking trails. But in the heart of the reserve are several wildlife enclosures. On weekdays, Odile and her colleagues take visitors into these natural habitats for what's best described as close encounters. Only in the winter months do the birds get this afternoon handout. Everyone's invited. Crimson rosellas, satin bowerbirds, king parrots, sulphur-crested cockatoos. Even a pair of Cape Barren geese who recognise a good place to start a family. From behind a log barrier, this is a chance to watch and learn. What precisely are we looking for?
We're looking for a musk duck. A musk duck, yeah. He's a black duck. He sits very low in the water.
And as we also discovered, he's strange looking, a great swimmer and carnivorous, which sets him apart from the rest of Tidbinbilla's waterbirds. Swans, ducks, ibis, coots. In fact, all the birds of the southeastern Australian wetlands are found in this series of linked ponds. And from a height at the water's edge, it's possible to see rarer and shyer visitors like this brolga. For more than 20 years now, Tidbinbilla's been developing the theme of wildlife encounters. And it's with the kangaroos and wallabies that it's probably paying off best. Some of them, like the big reds, are not native to these parts, but others, like the greys, are on home ground.
They're fairly friendly. They won't hurt you, but at the same time you can't get too close to them because if they feel a bit intimidated, they might rear up, particularly a male, and they have trouble going backwards as well. So you've got to give them a chance to move off.
Seeing kangaroos like this, watching the dynamics of the mob from just metres away, it's easy to forget that these are wild animals. Don't feed, don't pet. And it also makes a nice change from observing the group dynamics of that other mob back in the national capital, only 40 kilometres away.
Next week on Holiday, skiing and other mountain pursuits. Science adventure in South Australia. And meeting the locals on Kangaroo Island. And that's just about all from Holiday for another week. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope we've given you some good ideas for your next holiday. We'll be back, of course, at the same time next week, so until then, good night.
They're using crime, sex and superstars to grab your attention. But where do current affairs programs draw the line? Producers gave TV exclusive access to A Current Affair. And tomorrow night, Katrina Lee looks behind the hype to find out who's setting the agenda. That's TV, 6:30 tomorrow night on ABC, 6 o'clock in South Australia.